And today's video is called 7 Ways to Honor Your Cycles. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because so many women struggle with monthly cycles. And over the years, I have found a certain perspective of how to honor that cycle and make space and room for it in my life to where it's not a problem. It is an understanding and a joining of it so that life can go smooth and it's not as traumatic and difficult and hard. Because every month I too get into a PMS phase where my hormones are crazy and I become mean and irritable and I'm a bear and I feel miserable and my body hurts and I'm way more tired, and it's almost always accompanied by depression as well. And it can just be debilitating if we don't have the proper tools and ways of seeing it and understanding it and getting it to serve us, because there is a purpose in it. It's just that I think we've been taught in our society to go, 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 and we're not respecting and honoring these cycles and using them for what I think they were intended to be used for. And I've also found, and I can't say that this is true for sure, but I have a feeling and a sense of this when it happens to me every month, that life itself has a monthly cycle. And there is a point, there is an ebb and a flow. Life itself begins to pull back, and I feel like it slows down too. So I named this cycle, and I'm not sure this is the perfect name, but I've named this cycle the slowdown cycle. That's what I tell myself when it happens. And I'll know when it's happening because I'll have a great couple of weeks or a great few weeks. I'm full of energy, I'm working, everything's wonderful. And then one day I'll wake up, I find that I'm really grouchy, I'm really irritable, and nothing is working. It's like I make 5 phone calls, I can't get through to anybody. Nobody's returning my emails, and I'm pushing and I'm feeling anger built up or whatever, and then I realize, wait, I'm in a slowdown cycle. So the 7 tips that I have for you. Number 1, understand that it is a natural and normal process that we have a slowdown cycle every month. This way, you're not resisting it. This way, we can embrace it and allow it. So in a hormonal state and you're feeling like I had described, if you're feeling like me, and you're pushing and angry and irritable and whatever, then just say to yourself, this is a slowdown cycle, so let me honor it. Then the second tip would be allowing it to be. So the first thing that I do is I myself slow down. If I need to cancel appointments, if I need to clear off some of the unneeded stuff on my schedule, I slow down. And it's more of a time of suddenly switching from doing mode to the being mode. So I start to ease into being more. And during this time, we are so blessed because this is when our intuition is heightened. And I believe that we are meant to slow down, to stop and to pause so that we can really listen to that intuition. That's part of what the slowdown time is for. It's helping us catch up to our lives and really process the stuff that's happened that month. And so make sure that you do that you, instead of resist it and instead of pushing through, that you start to relax and that you clear out your schedule and you give yourself time to slow down. And I know the mind will come in and say, you can't do this, blah, 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 blah. But the opposite is actually true. If you slow down and you take this week or however long, generally for me it's about a week, but they can vary. As long as you take that time, you will find that when you return to the real world, you're way more productive and effective anyway. And it can also help you to avoid illness, because when we don't listen and we don't honor our cycles, then our bodies break down to get us to slow down. So you'll find that you're not ill as much and that your monthly cycles are much, much easier. And you'll actually look forward to it, because who doesn't want to slow down and start to relax? So that's step number 2. Make sure that you allow some space and start clearing the calendar and give yourself some time. Step number 3, and I kind of touched on this in step number 2, is using this time for you to listen to your life and to process the things that have happened to you. When you're in this slowdown cycle, most of us have a lot of anger, or we're irritable, and things just come up, and there's a reason for that. So this is the perfect time to sit still, get out a journal, sit down and kind of process what is going on. What are you angry about? What is not working in your life? What is your intuition telling you to do? And maybe make some notes in a journal and just process this stuff. And also, in the processing of it, if you are really angry at somebody and you've been carrying that around, this is the perfect time to give yourself time to clear it out. Do what you need to do to get that cleared out of your system. Now, when we are going through a slowdown cycle, our hormones and chemistry are not really in balance. And so we want to make sure that we're not hard on ourselves for that and judging ourselves and criticizing ourselves. Everybody feels mean sometimes if you're a human. And everybody gets grouchy and everybody gets irritable and annoyed with people. And it's just a part of life. So we want to bring into this a lot of self-acceptance. And I think a lot of it too has to do with stress and pressure building up throughout the month. And so this is a time to be non-judgmental and to tell yourself, I allow this to be. This is a slowdown cycle. So I'm going to embrace the cycle. I'm not going to fight it, and I'm not going to resist it, and I'm not going to judge how I feel and all my hormonal stuff going on. And I'm going to just simply surrender to it and allow it to be. And some of the activities that we can do is going for walks in nature, getting naps. Naps are so important, and a lot of extra sleep if need be. Sometimes it's just reading a book and refilling our well with some inspirational material, or watching inspirational movies. But it's doing things that are very, very slowed down, not a heavy schedule, just kind of a flow into things that nurture and uplift and feel good to you. And we can also use it as a time to pamper ourselves, to go get a massage, go get our hair done, take hot baths, sometimes even indulge in our cravings. If you crave sugar and chocolate, to me, it's okay to eat it during this time. Don't deprive yourself of anything. This is really about honoring, again, the cycle, and the cycle needs to be fed with nourishment and comfort so you can renew and heal and rejuvenate. Now, another thing that I experienced during the slowdown period is I always seem to notice some type of depression that's kind of creeping in. And what I'd like to say to you regarding this is that it's fine to feel the depression, but just be careful that you're not letting your mind sitting there telling you stories about why you're so depressed and how awful your life is, and building up a lot of drama within yourself. I don't go there anymore, and it's really been helpful, because I used to hit a slowdown cycle and I finally would want to collapse and give in and resist, and oh, I'm just going to bed, I feel so depressed. And then I'd spend the whole day just whining and complaining and indulging in this nonsense that's telling you I'm so depressed and my life is so awful and blah, blah, blah. It's just such a toxic, unhealthy thing to do to yourself, and it's not even true. It's just a slow down cycle. And in a slow down cycle, we're not always happy and up, and that's perfectly fine. So go ahead, and if you feel an underlying depression, let it be there. For me, it's kind of an energetic low hum and a lack of enthusiasm and a not caring about anything. That's just fine. But I don't sit there and tell myself a bunch of stories about it. It's more about just staying into the feeling of it, and if you need to sleep and escape, for a couple days, that's fine. But just don't start feeding it and letting your mind tell the stories. Just allow it to be as a feeling and an experience of, hey, I'm just not feeling so good, and let it be at that. That's really, really an important key that I have found, so you don't end up creating a deeper and bigger depression cycle when it's just not needed. It's just a natural part of the slowdown experience and the slowdown cycle. And the seventh thing is, once you've taken the time to reflect and kind of process what has happened in the month, make sure to really make it a point to address the things that you've come up with, the things that are bothering you. If you have some issues with your spouse, once you're feeling better, when you're out of the cycle, make sure that you sit down and make a little list. I need to address this. I need to have a talk with my spouse and resolve the situation. I need to make some changes in my life because every month this is happening. So then make those changes. So take some time towards the end, once you've been renewed and you've allowed yourself the time and done the things we've talked about, and you're just starting to come out of this cycle, because we do. It just, all of a sudden one day you start feeling better and your energy returns. That is going to happen. So be prepared for that, and towards the end of the slowdown cycle, go ahead and make a list of the things that have come up, what your intuition is telling you. Use it to better yourself and your life, and to work with the things that are no longer working and make some changes or address issues that are going on inside yourself or out in the world that you need to take care of. And those issues could be, my house is filthy, I need to clean my house more, I need to get more organized, or I need to resolve an argument with somebody, I need to clear some anger from my system. Whatever it is, make it a point to use that. And as soon as you're feeling better, you don't have to do it during your slowdown cycle, but as soon as you're feeling better, then make those changes for the month. And I think you'll find that over time, you're actually welcoming this monthly flow. Life is slowing down, and it's time for you to slow down, and it's time to go within, and it's time to honor the cycle. And I find that my cycles are so much more loving and light, and they're also very powerful, and I don't resist them anymore. It might take me a day of being grouchy and pushing through stuff to realize I'm in one, but once I do, I go, oh, I must be in a slowdown cycle. And life assists me in that, because my life quits working. Like I said, I struggle and strain and push, and nothing's working out, and I'm getting frustrated, and that's oh, I remember, I'm in a slowdown cycle now. And so I just surrender to that. And when you come out of it, God, you feel wonderful, and you're so energized, and you're so recentered, and you have extra power. You've gone within and just rested and let this power rejuvenate, and you feel fantastic, and you're ready to solve the things that have come up or address and deal with things. And the next thing you know, you're back into the flow of life, and life is assisting you, and you're not pushing, and you're not striving, and you're not struggling, and it's a really cool and wonderful thing. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video, and that these tips help you in your monthly cycling process, and just know that we all have it, and we are loving and supporting you as you work with these 7 ways to make it a more smooth and natural transition every month, so it's not so disruptive and upsetting. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.